Nova Welsh was born in Jamaica in 1957 and moved to the United Kingdom with her family at the age of 10. She was always smiling and laughing, and was beloved by everyone in her community. She left home when she was just 16 to move in with her boyfriend, Osmond Bell. The couple would eventually have 2 sons together. However, the relationship was plagued by arguments, which sometimes became physical. By the summer of 1981, the tumultuous and abusive relationship was falling apart. Nova had confided in her sister Valerie that Osmond hit her and threatened to kill her should she try to leave him. Neighbors reported that the couple argued near constantly, raising their voices to the point where they could be heard clearly in other apartments in the building. The relationship finally ended after a particularly violent incident in June. Nova's stepsister Sonia heard screaming coming from the couple's kitchen in their apartment in Lighthorn Avenue, Ladywood, Birmingham. When she ran into the kitchen, she saw Osmond with a dish towel wrapped around his hands. Sonia wanted to call the police, but Osmond ordered her not to. Police did report to the scene, and Nova told them that she and Osmond had been arguing. She had unsuccessfully tried to get him to leave the apartment when the situation escalated. Nova declined to file a report about the incident, and Osmond did leave the home. He moved out a short time later, going to live in Regent Road, Handsworth. While she did not discuss the details of the incident with the authorities, Nova did share them with her friends. She told several of them that Osmond had tried to strangle her, and showed them the marks on her neck that the attack had left. Osmond was not happy about the end of his relationship with Nova, and sent her letters threatening to kill her if she did not get back together with him, telling her that if he could not have her, then no one else could either. According to a friend who had seen one of these letters, Osmond had written Nova that, "If you don't have me back, then you know what I will have to do." On July 25th, 1981, Nova dropped off her 2 sons, ages 2 and 6, with Osmond. That evening, she went out to a party with a man she had recently begun seeing and a group of friends. Throughout the following morning and afternoon, neighbors could hear Nova crying and arguing with someone. The last sighting of her was around 6 o'clock that evening, when a neighbor reported seeing her, looking upset. Nova never returned to pick up her sons, and failed to show up to her job as a cleaner on Monday morning, July 27th. Nova's mother and some other family members had just moved to Miami, and were hoping that now that Nova's relationship with Osmond was over, she would decide to join them in America with her 2 sons. 3 days after they arrived in Florida, they attempted to call Nova to let her know that they had safely arrived. She did not answer the phone, and they could not reach her despite numerous further phone calls. One of Nova's closest friends was Lorna Edmunds. Lorna was also one of Nova's neighbors, and sometimes helped her by watching her 2 children. Lorna had not seen Nova since July 22nd, when Nova had told her that she would not need her help to watch the boys that night, because they would be going to see their father instead. Lorna became concerned about Nova when her own phone calls to her went unanswered. She was also worried because Nova's laundry remained up on the line outside. She reported Nova missing to police on August 9th. A massive effort was launched to try to locate the missing woman. Posters were put up around Birmingham. Authorities went door to door, visiting over 500 residences by the end of the month, and the case was featured in the local media. One article in the Evening Mail featured photos of and quotes from Nova's 2 young sons, asking for their mother to come home. Osmond Bell was an obvious suspect in Nova's disappearance to her loved ones, given his history of violence towards her in the past. Furthermore, he had never reported Nova missing, even though she had never returned for her sons, and was by all accounts a loving mother who doted on her children. He told police he had assumed Nova had run off with her new boyfriend, or left for America to see her family in Florida. On August 12th, an anonymous letter was delivered to Lorna Edmunds that appeared to divert suspicion away from Osmond. The unsigned letter appeared to be written from the perspective of a woman. In it, the writer claimed her boyfriend had seen another man grab and hit Nova through her kitchen window on Sunday, July 26th. The letter writer further stated that her boyfriend had identified the man he had seen as the man Nova had been dating. He was able to make this identification because he had been at the same party Nova and her new boyfriend had attended on July 25th and had seen them there together. At an inquest into the case in December of 1982, it was revealed that police theorized that the letter was written either by Nova's killer or at the killer's behest to throw suspicion onto Nova's new boyfriend. On August 18th, residents of the tower block where Nova lived began complaining about a foul odor coming from a utility cupboard under the stairs in the basement. When the cupboard was opened, the body of 24-year-old Nova was found inside of it. She was wearing her night clothes and was covered with a blanket and some papers. Authorities believed that she had been killed in her apartment. Her body was then wrapped in the blanket and taken down to the cupboard 2 flights below. The investigation into Nova's murder was initially delayed by several days due to problems with the handling of her initial post-mortem examination. Her second post-mortem examination would show that she had been killed as a result of pressure to the neck. Authorities believed, based on the condition of Nova's body and witness reports, that she had most likely been killed in the early morning hours of July 27th, meaning she had been dead the entire time she had been missing, and that her body had remained hidden for 3 weeks. Osmond Bell was taken into custody so that he could be questioned for 4 days, but he was ultimately released due to a lack of evidence. It would be more than 3 decades before Nova's case would be solved using technology that had not been available to investigators in 1981. In 2014, as part of a cold case inquiry, several items of evidence in the case were re-examined in hopes of finding DNA on them. DNA was found on 2 important pieces of evidence. On the seal of the envelope, the anonymous letter sent to Lorna Edmunds had been mailed in, on the strip of adhesive where the sender had presumably licked the envelope to seal it, and in a piece of chewing gum used to secure the lock on the door to the cupboard where Nova's body had been found. The DNA profile extracted from the gum was complete, but the profile from the envelope was incomplete, providing only 17 points of comparison instead of the normally accepted 20. Both the incomplete sample from the envelope and the complete sample from the chewing gum were a match to Osmond Bell's DNA. The then 59-year-old was arrested and charged with Nova's murder in August of 2016. At his trial in February of 2017, Osmond Bell told the court that he had been abused by police officers during his interrogation following the discovery of Nova's body, and that they had hit him over the head and kicked his chair out from under him. He said his DNA was on the envelope because he had been left alone in the interrogation room with the letter and the envelope during his questioning. He said he picked up the letter to read it because he assumed he was being watched and the police would not come back into the room until they saw him read the letter. He explained the presence of his DNA on the chewing gum found in the lock by claiming he, his brother, and his business partner had previously been in the cupboard trying to access a pipe as a part of the washing machine repair business they ran out of a nearby garage. They had forced the door open, and he had used his gum to repair the lock to keep the door closed at this time, not at the time of Nova's murder. The jury deliberated for 6 days at the end of the 6-week-long trial before reaching a verdict in the case. They acquitted Osmond Bell on the murder charge, but found him guilty of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 12 years, but would only be incarcerated for 6, as he would be allowed to serve half of his sentence out on license. When sentencing Bell, Judge Patrick Thomas told him he saw no evidence that he had premeditated killing Nova, and that he believed the crime had occurred following an argument, most likely the result of Bell's jealousy over Nova taking advantage of her newfound freedom by socializing. Then, said the judge, having killed her, you concealed her body, doing nothing to assuage the pain and grief of your own children. Nova's mother, Lorna Welsh, released a statement through the police following the conviction. Finally, after 36 long years, Nova can rest in peace, it read. The family can now have closure knowing the person who took Nova's life has been brought to justice. I would sincerely like to thank everyone involved in bringing this case to court.